every business owner needs to create some problems for themselves. And the problem is you should have more contracts or properties under contract that you can digest.
A few weeks ago, I sat down with a very good friend of mine and a very experienced land flipper. His name is Anshul Sharma. Anshul operates and runs a 7-figure land business that does 98% wholesaling. So they buy and sell 98% of their properties before they close on them, which is very different from what I do. So it was a cool new perspective to kind of see and hear how the business is run from a different point of view. We talked about a lot of different topics in there: how to sell your land in 90 days or less, wholesaling land deals, how to find good deals, what does a good deal look like. So hey, if you're not already in our free Facebook group or follow us on Instagram, that's where we post the links for these cool webinars. We do these once or twice every month. So make sure to jump over there. We'll have the links in the description for all that. And finally, if you are a wholesaler, real estate investor, if you're fixing flipping houses or apartments or storage units, whatever you're doing, if you're interested in copy and pasting my land strategy into your business, we're looking for 50 great operators to take our business across the country this year. We'll have that link in the description as well if you're interested in checking that out, potentially working with us a little closer. So that's all I got for you here. Jump over and enjoy the call with Anshul.
I think we start off by letting everybody know how cool Anshul is and why we're lucky to have him today.
Love it.
Ooh, I'm flattered, dude. Thanks for the nice intro.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for everybody that doesn't know, Anshul kicks butt doing over 150 deals a year, specializing in a lot of double closing tactics. This guy's a genius when it comes to sales process and is not afraid to invest in himself and recreate himself over and over and over again. If you are ever scared that you're getting stagnant, look at Anshul and that fear will become more real, because this guy is the opposite of that. So we are lucky to have him today. He is a master at finding buyers within about 90 days or less, and should be a lot of fun today.
Did we get it right, Anshul?
Hey, I think, yeah, absolutely. More than what I expected, but yeah, perfect. We sold a couple of deals here, so I think we can add some values for sure.
Love it. Well, cool. Ajay, do you have anywhere you want to go? This is just going to kind of be an open, Q&A chit chat where I do deals. What I like about the group up here is we all, me and Anshul are like pretty much like polar opposites in our land business, which I love it. And then Ajay is like a middle ground who can like maybe see from both sides. So I like the panel up here today. Anshul does a lot more like Ajay said, double closings, whereas I do a lot more buy, hold, and sell, or sell on financing, and we overlap in different areas. But I just wanted to chat and see how we were all selling deals these days. Sound good?
Yeah.
Ajay, where do you want to go from here?
Yeah, let's kick off. Anshul, will you give everybody just a really brief overview of your team, roles and responsibilities, count? I know that could be a really long dialogue. We could probably do an entire hour on just that. So if you can, keep it brief, but let everybody know kind of what you're running these days.
Sure. So I run my team pretty like a corporate style because I'm a corporate guy, right? And so I have seen big companies having 150,000 employees. So that's my framework. And that's how I kind of do not scaling, because, if somebody has done 150,000 employees, I can definitely do 150 in my company. So that's my kind of scale of how I do things. But basically, the entire company can be broken down into two groups: acquisitions and dispositions, right? And in acquisitions, I have primarily two major functions. One, which is the outreach team. Those are the guys who's on the phone, text, what have you, to talk to the sellers and get the properties in the contract. Behind the scenes, I have the property analyst team who does all the comping work, right? So there's a front line, which is the outreach team. There's people supporting from the back end, which is the property analysis team. So, these talk to the customers, customer wanting to have an offer, come to the property comms team, they create an offer, frontline team goes back to the customer, gets the deal in the contract. Obviously, it's an oversimplified version of it, but that's how I summarize my acquisitions team. There is also a third team, which is data analyst, which is analyzing data, where we need to go and where we are, and if that's working, and should we continue doing it, or we should stop doing what we are doing right now. All data-driven approach, right? Are we there where we want to be? Absolutely not. But that is the third pretty important team in the company, especially when we are scaling and we're going multiple scale and we doing 5,000, 7,000 texts a day. It becomes important to know where you're going pretty fast. Otherwise, you can get burned out pretty quickly with your marketing budget. So those are the three big teams on the acquisition side. On the disposition side, I have a closing department where I have a professional escrow officer, along with one or two assistants that help them, the escrow officer, close deals. I just kind of got this experience from the title company world, literally hired somebody who had like 15 years of experience coming in and closing deals for me, looking at the title and all that kind of stuff. And then I have a marketing team, or AKA the listing team, whose job is to put everything together from a listing perspective and give as much exposure to the property as possible within 2 or 3 days, getting the property under contract. So we are under a clock. That's why I can close everything in 90 days or almost everything in 90 days. And then we have the sales team who's working with my buyers to qualify them, pre-qualify them, qualify them, handle objections, and close the deal. So that's how it works. So those are the major things going on in the company.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So everybody, Anshul just described his 7-figure business in under 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. Very well. So hats off to you. Out of curiosity, Anshul, number one, how many do you have on staff now? And could you walk us through the ratio of acquisitions to dispositions? Excuse me.
Yeah, we try to keep it disproportionate. I always want more people in acquisitions and dispositions because right. This is a whole funnel system. So you don't want to be in a situation we have more people in disposition side and less on that side. But I'm running a team of 24 people right now. So, okay. They are so-called VAs as well. They are full-time employees. It's a combination of all. And some are VAs, but have been in the company for 4 years, and now they are full-time employees. So
that's incredible. That's incredible. So would you say for every 1, 2, 3 acquisitions, you'll have another proportionate disposition then? What does that kind of look like on you?
Right. So every 2 or 3 people we hire in acquisitions, be it on the outreach team or property analyst team, we try to see at least 1 person or 1.5, if that's feasible, on the disposition side. But I don't have to go fill that position the same day because this is a 3-month cycle. So what we do today on the acquisition side, I only see the after effect or the aftermath of it in probably 2 or 3 months. But that's the whole strategy. As soon as we add 3 or 4 people on the acquisition side, we start thinking to add 1 or 2 people on the disposition side, maybe a month or month and a half down the line.
Beautiful.
Anshul, are you just gonna like grow to the moon, like until like what's your?
I don't know. I just know we have 50 states, and there is no reason to not be in any one of them. That's my mindset. Where this thing breaks, I have no clue, to be honest with you. Maybe after 50 people, I say, hey, enough is enough, and I've done enough of what I do today, but I just don't know where the limit is. So I haven't found that limit yet. And because I'm so much in the world of assignments and double closing, I kind of tend not to run out of money when I have to close these deals. So that's the scaling part of it. Yeah.
What percentage of deals are you closing in-house versus like wholesaling?
98% is wholesaling.
Okay, got it. That's crazy. Okay, so there's a huge so much we could talk about there, but let's focus in on the dispo side, right? Yeah. So, the title of this webinar was How We Sell Land in 90 Days or Less, right? That's right. So, let's jump into it. First, how many people are on the disposition side?
We have about 8, 9 people, 10 people.
Got it. All right. So 10 people working on dispositions full time. And you said you have an in-house title agent?
Yeah, escrow officer, 15 years of experience. So I don't have to read title. And she brings those deals back that I thought are bad deals because she has understanding of title and she jives better with escrow officers than I do. You don't want to be you don't want me to be on the phone with an escrow officer discussing title, affidavit of quiet. So yeah, she I mean, one of my best decisions scaling the business.
That's
Because that
awesome.
was my Achilles heel. I don't know how to retitle. I don't want to retitle. I should not retitle. And that's why I hired somebody who can do that for me.
I know how to read title, and so I still read a lot of title, especially since I only do like 10 or 20 deals a year. But those deals are, there's so much more at stake that I want the documents to be even more correct. And so I've found I'm like reading way too much title and lawyer legalese stuff lately. So that's very interesting. Anyway, a whole nother webinar. I'll sidebar that. Okay, so dispositions, let's kind of talk strategy. What's something you guys are doing to turn land so quick? Because I think most people would agree in the chat that the land market has slowed down a bit. I've heard that a lot. I'm still generally able to move properties, not as quickly, but well within the time frame I need to. Obviously, it seems like you are as well. So what's the general process look like for your disposition side once an acquisition flows in?
Look, I think we have been really lazy in the last 5 years, how we want to sell our properties. And I always use the thought that if I can give a phone to a 14-year-old, they'd still be able to sell all my properties. But that was up until last year, because you're offering like a 30% discount. People already want to buy this property. They just want to make sure that you're not fraud. They're getting a clear title, right? Regardless whether you're selling $100,000 or $10,000. Anybody could do that as long as you're giving the right information. You did not need a salesperson on the phone and doing the job. Okay, that's the reality of the situation. You're not showing the property. You're not doing any of that. All you're doing, making sure that the information gets to the buyer, and it's really up to them whether they want to buy it or not. But now the season has changed, right? And that's where some of these sales techniques and marketing techniques really comes in, where like, look, the need for follow-up is really important at this time. You cannot just have one buyer call you and you never call them back. That used to be last year, because you getting 10 calls on the property and you picking your buyers, but now buyers picking you. So it becomes really important. If somebody calls, you better get behind that buyer and understand why they're not buying the property from you. Is it price? Is it product? They do not have trust in you. They do not have trust in the tile company. You really need to find that information, because if you're not doing that, then probably you're going to lose a lot of business. That's the part between marketing and sales. And I'm a huge marketing fan, and I learned a lot of marketing from Clint, right? Like, you need to get property the exposure that it deserves. But once the property gets the exposure, then what? When you have leads coming in, how do you convert those leads into buyers, right? And that's where the whole system of following up, making sure you're qualifying your buyers correctly, making sure you're asking the right questions, because at the end of the day, even if they don't buy from you, you want to know, why did they not buy the property from me? Was it me? Was it the product? What is the price? So you can fix that and turn that property quickly. Because if you don't know that reason, you don't know why this thing is not selling. And then you're sitting on it for 180 days and saying, my stuff doesn't sell. You know what I mean? I call the buyer, hey, dude, why didn't you buy the property? Was the price? No, dude, the price is gone, but I never get to see the property. I'm like, what happened? Man, I don't know how to get into the property. I shared the survey with them, all the 4 corners and everything. They went back and they bought the property. Had I not called them and know why they're not buying the property, I would always thought this is a pricing issue. And the next thing you know, you're dropping prices. Man, my property is not selling. Let's drop the price by $10,000. And you found that still the property is not selling, and you're like confused now. 180 days on the market and property doesn't sell. What's going on? So I would really say, marketing is obviously important, super important. I think marketing is like, senior to sales. But once you got those leads, you should really know how to convert, which is a sales game. So if you have not been a sales guy in your business and you can think you can scale the business without being that sales guy, I don't think that, that would be the case. So that's my experience. That's how I have trained my team. Guys, when you get a lead, I want to know why they did not buy from us. You better should have that answer. Call them, take the feedback. It's important, so you can tweak your marketing tactics and make the property sell. So that's what we are doing over here. And it's more important than ever before.
Yeah, that's really valuable, Anshul. Thank you I can tell you're passionate about this, right? You're just hammering out a bunch of good bombs here. So this is really, really good. I think there's 2 separate topics here that we can really dive into. One's pretty quick and one we could probably talk about for 6 hours, right? So first, we've got our lead generation component in my mind. where are all the places you're putting it? Let's make sure everybody here has a strong foundation, that you're capturing all the leads from all the places you can get eyeballs. And then number two, how are you qualifying, nurturing, and then following up with all those leads once you've got them? So can you start us off with where are you posting them? How are you generating leads? And then walk us through what you do with them after.
So guys, I do not have any special platform. I just leverage what everybody have access to, which is pretty much Facebook Marketplace. I can tell you this, 65% properties sold through Facebook Marketplace for us. Okay, it's free.
How many?
65% of all the inventory we sell,
Wow.
65% goes off Facebook Marketplace. And that too, when I really had a hard time in the last 3 months, because I had a lot of churn on my sales side. I have people let go and I'm training a whole new batch, but still we were able to move 50 to 60 properties just from Facebook Marketplace. I can tell you the quality of leads we get from Facebook Marketplace. Oh my gosh, if you do the right job of nurturing them, pre-qualifying them, qualifying them, objection handling, and take them to close, you'll find more leads than you have deals in the pipeline. I mean, that's my experience. We every account, we have around 7 to 8 or 9 accounts, Facebook Marketplace. Every account we qualifying around 15 to 20 legit buyer leads every account, if you do the job right. Right? These are people who are asking relevant questions, right? There's a conversation going back and forth. Hey, where's the property? How much price? I'm going to go see the property. When are you going to go see the property? Hey, on Wednesday afternoon, all that kind of stuff. These are legit conversations, right? So we qualify them, put them in Follow Up Boss. Thanks to Clint, 4 years back, I implemented Follow Up Boss, or 5 years back, right? And from there, the whole follow-up process begins. But Facebook Marketplace, then we also send a bunch of properties through MLS. So I do equitable interest kind of listings, and we put them for 149, whatever that price is. And then we have realtors call in and that kind of stuff.
Got it. Okay, that's really good. Anshul, you
Real quick,
mentioned.
hold on, Ajay, real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna get you off. I just kind of selfishly, I'm curious, Anshul, are you very price competitive when you're listing on MLS and on whatever? Are you trying to like come in and be like, and this is something I talk about too, but like, are you just way undercutting the market?
No, I sell
No.
full price.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of giving any damn discount to anybody. Okay, it sounds harsh to buy it. I don't care, man. I have a business to run, and if I chop like 30% off the market value, I cannot put food on the table for me and for my team member. That's not how I can scale. So my properties go maybe at 95% or 90%. And from there, the sales game came in, because I have an understanding people do not buy or not buy because of price. Right? When people call us, they already know the price. Dude, if you know the price, why did you call me? If you know the price and you did not like the price, why did you call me? Right? You called me because you still wanted the property. You calling me for negotiation, and business is all about negotiating. I'm ready to negotiate, but I'm not going to put my property 30% discount, because that's lazy sales. And that's what land investor has been used to in the last 3-4 years. Put it for 30% discount and people will come by. That's true. But you do not have that kind of margins anymore, because you're not getting those properties under contract at the price you used to. So where you got to make your money, you got to do a better job at marketing and sales. That's what you need to do. Sorry.
Yeah.
If that's the answer that you were looking for.
Like, I feel like I'm being talked to like personally right now. Like, I feel like he's like, Clint, you've gotten lazy. Like, you need to be more outbound. No, I love it. No, that's fantastic, man. No, it truly is like it. I've said this a lot. It's like the current market feels like when I started, which was like 2017, 2018 in there. And like everything I taught about and talked about was outbound sales and lead generation and that kind of stuff. Cause that's like what was creating it. And it's so funny. Like, I've been banned from Facebook Marketplace forever. And like, I know the process of like buying accounts and nurturing them and getting them access and setting up VPNs and the whole deal. But I kind of just stopped doing it. And I'm hearing just one massive thing is like, don't like everybody left and Anshul came in and now he's getting all of the leads is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, I think Facebook Marketplace is worth it. It's one of those things, guys. Craigslist. I hated it. Like
Yeah.
I never wanted to put a damn property on Craigslist because the best you can get is a scammer who wants to make that 20 bucks off of you for whatever
Yeah.
reason. I
Yeah.
never did it. But I heard people using Craigslist and I never get it to work. But the next best thing to Craigslist is Facebook Marketplace. It's free. Okay. And you can have as many as you want. So
Dude, we
anyways,
used
we
to
have a
post like we used to have like accounts and daisy chained and like all sorts of different people on my team, like employees that were using their accounts and like we were getting
and
hundreds of posts out a day back in the day, and it got a little more difficult. But it's just a game and knowing the platform and playing with it. I know that for sure. But it sounds like we need to be because Anshul, like so I've gone to a lot bigger deals, a lot lower volume. And so I've historically had an internal sales department, but I don't right now. Like everyone's been transitioned to acquisitions. And for our super like higher dollar, when we're trying to sell a whole package, it's all me right now. And then I don't have trained people doing outbound anymore. And like we feel it. Like it's not like it's impossible for us to sell, but it sure is not as easy as it was, a year or two ago.
Yep. Yeah. And one of the challenges, like I know people like to sell through realtors, and I think it's a great idea, but if they're not adding any value to what I'm selling to my property, I'm not going to go the realtor route because that's another way people have figured out the lazy way. Hey, let's go through the realtor route. I have outsourced my sales. Guys, there is no great company on planet Earth who outsource their sales and they scale the business. Hasn't happened yet. Okay. So realtors are great when you really need one, but I would really encourage to have that institution of having a sales team. Even if you have one person, train that person because you need leads. If you have realtors selling these properties, I don't know how you guys get these leads, right? If somebody like 15 people calling realtors, those realtors are not giving those leads to you. Those leads stay with the realtor. How are you gonna reach back to those guys and sell other properties that you have? Like how are you building your buyers base, especially if you are in one county and you want to be in that one county or 2 or 5 counties for the next 5-10 years? You better have your own buyers list. And you having realtors sell these easy properties not going to help you with that. So that's just my, contrarian thought. Why selling every single property to a realtor might not be a great idea.
I 100% agree with that. Anshul, I just Googled this because you used to work at Dell. Hopefully we're allowed to say that. Dell Technologies has 158,000 staff, and around 30% of that staff is in sales.
Wow.
And like most people don't have any sales.
Yeah.
That's like 50,000 employees who are all dedicated to creating new opportunities and closing deals.
Great opportunities. Yeah. And by the way, in our business, selling is when you're on the acquisition side. Okay. Like that gotta be a bigger sales team than you have on the disposition side, right? So if we have like 3 people or 4 people in sales on the disposition side, we have 8-9 people on the acquisition side who putting these properties under contract, right? You have to maintain that ratio because every 1 out of 2 contracts or 3 contracts fail, title issues, all that kind of drama, right? So you need to maintain that ratio, of how many people you want on the acquisition side versus disposition. So that's another way to figure out, hey, how much should I have on my disposition side versus acquisitions, right? So if you have 3 contracts in acquisitions and probably 1 of them will die and 2 will remain by the time you're on the disposition side, then you have to maintain a 3-2 or 3-1 ratio in how you want to move these properties.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you're seeing? 2 or 3-1?
I mean, every 3 contract, 1 kind of, or maybe every 4 contract, 1 failed due to title issues or something like that. There's a funnel to it. Not everything that we put on the contract on the acquisition side, it sees the light of the day. So
you've always closed. That's always such a surprise. Like every time I hear you say that, it makes me be like, you stupid idiot. Why aren't you doing more wholesaling? Like, come on, get it together. I'm like, like if we're closing 6 or 7 or 8 out of 10 deals in the middle, that's pretty incredible. Sorry, Ajay, I didn't mean to steal that from you. I just wanted to.
No, it's all good. No, Anshul, again, this is so good. I think for everybody, but honestly, selfishly for me, we're at a place where we're finally bringing on a dedicated dispo person right now. And it's something we put off, and we used realtors for a long time. But as soon as the market started shifting, we realized not only were we as business owners lazy, but realtors are also really, really lazy. And I was like, all right, I am
Or
not
they're
letting
just
these
not
guys.
good at sale, like, or they're just
Right,
not good at, because like everything Anshul just talked about is just like sales 101. We're not like reinventing the wheel. And it's just
right.
most of them, like they take the calls whenever their phone rings. It's not like they're
Sometimes they don't even do that.
yeah, I know, right?
You just
Yep.
put it on MLS and the offers will come, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's how
you
some of these realtors treat it.
yep, you're at the mercy of them. And depending how many listings they have, you might be the very smallest ticket price, which they got no incentive. They have a $500,000 house to sell. Dude, your listing going nowhere. You're not taking
Yeah.
up
Right.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, Anshul, I want to make sure everybody here has some really good actionable steps as we leave here. So, I just want to come back to this Facebook Marketplace discussion, because I know personally a ton of investors get kicked off and don't utilize it anymore, or may not have the right qualification process. So, could you just
yep.
walk us through what does it look like to get a listing going, and maybe not even right away break down the whole process you guys have with nurturing accounts and everything, but just what's a good listing? And then how do you qualify that lead to make sure it's not your classic, is this available? And then you don't hear from them. What do you do to make sure this is worth the team's time investing in that lead?
Yeah. So man, Facebook, when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, less is more. Okay. You're the way you are using Facebook Marketplace is to get your property up. Not necessarily you have to put every single detail in that post. Do not do that. And I'm trying to actually, I just told my Facebook Marketplace expert because she maintains like 8 accounts and she got everything like everything hunkered down when it comes to market. I'm trying to have a best practice guide put together for land investors. I just gonna give it away where what we
Awesome.
have learned in the course of last 5 years about and everything like how we have this set up through because my guys access from Philippines, Egypt, Central America. So we got the whole thing into like a guide kind of thing. But to answer your question right now, less is more when it comes to marketplace, meaning you are just putting on marketplace to have people see your post, maybe see 1 or 2 pictures, a tagline which is exciting enough to have them say, is it still available? Or send me more information. Okay. If you can
Okay.
do that, that's a win on marketplace. That's all you need to achieve at that moment of time. Okay. Words like financing, payments, do not use it. Your account will be taken away. Okay. I have several accounts being taken away forever. So there are keywords that you should not type, you should not put on your postings. And I'm going to put the whole guide together, what keyword you should and you should not use. But it is sensitive. So just make sure you are better off saying property for sale, 1.2 acres outside of Texas. That is a way better tagline than you trying to say, hey, financing available, payments down, all that kind of stuff. Your account will be blocked. Okay. So less is more. Your job is to get just the post up so they don't block your profile or anything like that. Put it in the miscellaneous section. That's a quick tip. Put it in the miscellaneous section of where you're selling on Facebook Marketplace. Just put as minimum as low information as possible. No need to put your phone number. I know you wanted to put that phone number so somebody sees that post and call you. No need to do that. Okay. Just put 2 lines, beautiful property available outside of Austin. You will be better off doing this versus trying to put the whole 2 pages and finding a buyer. So that's my biggest tip for the Facebook Marketplace, and try to put as many properties as you want. If you're trying to sell something in Washington, another property in Texas, do not put that on the same marketplace. Facebook doesn't like you crossing over states. So do not go that far. Something in New Mexico, Texas, they're okay, but do not put a Washington property and a Texas property on the same account. At least not a bunch of them. So they don't like it. Kind of a Craigslist slide, right? They want to keep it very local to where you are. So you have to probably open a second account or something like that. But there's a hell lot more other things when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, just making sure your account doesn't shut, which in Facebook Marketplace is a win. Because if you keep the post up, you renew it, you will have leads coming in, and then you can start nurturing from there. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was that was all gold, and I think everybody here is looking forward to seeing that deliverable. You have any idea when that might be available? I don't want to push too hard, but
Yeah,
it's a good
no
teaser.
problem. We never thought of doing it, but
Okay.
I've seen people not really using marketplace as much as they want. So probably in a week or something, unless you do not judge me on my copy of that whole guide, because I'm not a digital expert here like Clint. Okay, so my stuff there could be typos, guys. There could be typos. Pictures might be off. It might be cutting from but you will get the information that you need, just enough information to run the
Here,
marketplace.
Anshul, I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal. You just send a rough draft to us.
Yeah.
We'll edit it. We'll
Okay.
make it pretty for you, and then we'll share it with them.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, we can do that. So, but probably in a week, 10 days. I just want to make sure
Perfect.
that
Yeah, that's
we
great.
put everything in there.
No, hey, we appreciate that. Okay, so let's pivot over to the back end. You've captured a lead. One thing I think, like, just quick bullet point takeaway from all that, if you take something like a tagline away from this, is like the only purpose of a marketing platform is to convert it from an eyeball to a lead. So like he said, that's like very platform specific, short, like Joe down the street, Bob next door type language when you're on Facebook generally works best, right? That converts it to a lead in Messenger, which can then eventually turn into a lead in your CRM. I always like to have a deliverable past the listing. So whether it's like a property packet, or it's a sales report, or it's, you know, something about financing, those are good hooks. You want somebody to be like, hey, what's up? Like, I saw you said you had more pictures, or you had a list of comps or a spreadsheet or something for me. Okay, so we've captured a lead. Now we're on the back end. Now we're nurturing. All right. What's Cardone you teaching us? Like
Yeah. Oh,
how
man,
we
that
getting
could
these
be
leads to close?
as my brother Sharma said, that could be another 3-hour session what Cardone teaching us. But I would say this: when your purpose on Facebook Marketplace is not to share your phone number, again, Marketplace doesn't like it. Your purpose is to have their phone number. Say, hey, we'd love to send you some images. We got some really nice images of the property. I got the plat image for you, by the way. Can I have your phone number real quick so I can text it to you? Your job is to get that guy or gal out of Marketplace and stick them into your follow-up boss or whatever CRM system you're using, okay? And transfer the communication over into that system, and that system should become your primary system for conversation, and you leave Marketplace with that lead, okay? That's your number one job, because the more you mess with Marketplace and you have a conversation, you will run into those words or those stuff that Marketplace doesn't like, and they're gonna shut you down. So your job is to take that lead out, put it in my follow-up boss, and start the process from there. So the process in our world looks like this. And this is my biggest step, by the way. This is what I learned in the sales cycle working with Cardone or whoever. Our sales cycle looks like this. We bring the lead, okay? There's a pre-qualification process, okay? Every lead is a hot lead, by the way. We don't do warm or that kind of stuff. Every lead that comes in is a hot lead, okay? We take that lead and we try to build a conversation. If there's a legit conversation going on, they're asking about the, right things about the property, and you guys know, hey, can I install a septic tank? Do we need a septic tank? All that kind of good stuff. We make that lead as a pre-qualified lead, okay? That's a pre-qualified lead, okay? Once they say, okay, I got what I need, the other question I ask, hey, when you gonna go and see the property? Because here's the fact, guys, if they're not seeing the property, they're not gonna buy it. Okay, I haven't had many buyers just yet who have not seen the property and ready to purchase that for $10,000, $50,000, $100,000. Okay, so unless they're not going to go buy the property, or see the property, I do not put them as a qualified buyer. You are not qualified for me unless you go and see the property and call me back. We need to close that loop, and once we close that loop, we make them as qualified. Now you're qualified, and let's open for conversation on how to get you closed. Okay, because somebody gone and see the property and still calling you, they need the property, period, end of the story. They know the price, now they know the property. There is nothing really left for you not to close that lead, okay? So your job becomes with that qualified person to see how you can close that person, and which is sales 101, objection handling. You need to find out what it would take from that point to get that person under contract and get it sold. That's your job as a business owner or a salesperson. Because guess what, guys? When you say, hey, that person called me, but he never called me back. Hey, I don't know why I was not able to close with that guy. Guess what? you did not do a good job handling their objections. There was a hidden objection that you didn't figure out, and they didn't buy the property. Okay, so your job is to figure out what that objection is, solve for it, and then go for the close. That's what we do over here. So once you handle the objection, then we go for the contract. We send the contract, put them under contract. A deal is not a deal unless the earnest money is in. So we don't take our properties offline unless we got the earnest money. Once we have that in, then yeah, it's offline and move on to the next one.
Okay. That's good. Don't miss that, guys. Earnest money means they're serious, right? Because now there's cash in the bank or in an escrow account, whichever way we want to put it.
And don't go for a $500 earnest money, guys. Slap $3,000. If they're gonna pay you $10,000, they better should pay $3,000 now. Okay, otherwise they're not serious. They're gonna $500 earnest money. People forget about it. They move on to the next thing. Put a $3,000, $2,000. They're not gonna forget about $2,000, $3,000 earnest money. Now, then you know he's a serious or she's a serious buyer. If they're not willing to put $2,000, $3,000 down on a $10,000 property, they're not serious. They're just looking around. They're gonna walk away, and then you'll be like back selling this property again on the market. So,
how many people are like good English speaking like closers?
yeah, so great question. I have 2 Spanish and 2 English. So there are 2 people who know Spanish. I mean, that's their first language, and they close all my Spanish or Hispanic or Latino buyers, which I love all day, every day.
Do you post ads in Spanish?
We don't. That's a good thing. We don't post in Spanish, but if they call, then we have 2 dedicated Spanish speaking people. That's where the call goes to. It gets transferred.
Yeah, that's just the tip I heard as people, especially if you sell land in the South, of post, like you can post a copy of your ad in Spanish. And if you have a Spanish speaker, yeah, you kind of segment yourself on the market. Okay, got it. And so how many like because the question is always like, it's the dichotomy of, do I just list it and let it sell, or do I have my sales team, right? So like how much effort, like how many dials, how many leads are you guys working in a given time period? I don't know how you measure it, but does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, we use follow-up boss. And again, once somebody sees the property and they call us back, then we are really on a clock here, because that's the moment. That's the moment where you want to close, right? And we really follow up very hard, make sure that every question is answered before we put that person on the contract. Now, I have a bunch of people before they see the property. Prior to that, they are in the business of adding, and they keep calling them, making sure they got the information to initiate that conversation. So it kind of works both ways, right? So you have first, if I can split my sales team into 2, the first batch is like who kind of nurtured the lead, make sure that they got the information, and they go see the property. They push them to go see the property, go see the property, so they can qualify them. And then once they call back after seeing the property, then I have another set of people who can handle like really tough questions, right? Regarding the contract, regarding tile companies, why you wholesaling it, price, seller financing, all the kind of tough stuff. That's when it goes to the like a more qualified salespeople who can handle those questions and close the deal. So I guess but we do track how many outgoing calls are made, how many text messages were done, and all that kind of good stuff. So we have KPI.
Why are you wholesaling?
Yes.
Why are you
wholesaling? That's how I feed my family.
Is that what
you have a problem with that? I've said this to people. That's how I feed my family, man. That's how I make money. Okay, I buy low and sell high, depending on who you talk to. But my normal pitch is, hey, look, I have this property in the contract with my seller. I have an exclusive contract. I thought of buying it, building on it, doing something with the property. My plans have changed, and I'm proactively looking for a buyer. And I found you. Are you wanting to buy? We close with a tile company. They will give you insurance. There'll be no tile problems, nothing. I have a survey on the property. How you want to proceed? Where can I send you the sale agreement? Oh, by the way, I don't have your email address or phone number. Can I have your email address and phone number, please? Let's go.
All right, I'm in. I'll buy it. Just tell me where it is.
That's the pitch. And one of the things we use, we put the tile companies as our, as a credit card. Means we push title companies to the buyer, say, hey, we work with Capital Title of Texas. By the way, we do work with Capital Title of Texas. If you need some kind of there, because they have around 40 or 50 offices across Texas. So that becomes very easy for my buyers to go into like a physical office and drop off the earnest money. That's another tip, by the way. If you're selling, put your title companies on the line. Hey, call the escrow officer. Talk about us. We have done 500 deals. She'll be more than happy to share a couple of with you, just to make sure that we are the real deal. Okay, we have a high reputation. By the way, we have 67 customer reviews. Allow me to text it to you, so we are the best people to do business with. So there are different ways that you can build credibility while you're on the phone. I always put my title companies first, and I give their phone number. Hey, before you call us, go call them. Talk about us. See if you feel comfortable. And that's a relationship you need to have with the title companies as well. Hey, when my buyers call, just be okay taking those phone calls, even if they don't have a sale agreement for you at that time.
Or how many people on your team can talk the talk like that?
Two.
Two? How much time have you spent training them? Or how long have they been with you?
Yeah, so one girl has been with a year and a half, and the other person I hired 4 months back.
Okay. And how much?
And then yeah. So here's the thing, with follow-up boss, I have enough closings that have been recorded that I closed. So when they come in, they watch all those closed conversation from start to the end. I say, hey guys, go and watch these 30 closings that I did personally, and how did I do it? How did I qualify? What did I say? What question? And you can just do the same thing unless you find a better mousetrap, and you can be on your own, right? And so they just use what I have done. And that's the reason why you as a business owner, is important that you record that. You sell stuff yourself. So when you have a salesperson coming in, they have something to go off of. Otherwise, you'll kind of end up training them, forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what we do.
You're a sale. I was ready to buy a minute ago. I'm sure you should have taken my credit card.
Don't do credit cards. We try to do business the right way. I'll let you talk to the title company. I'm gonna have the wiring instructions to you. That's another thing. We don't do credit cards. I don't need your money, by the way. There is no way I should need your money. Title company needs your money because they are the one custodian to this earnest money deposit, right? That's another thing I tell to my buyers, guys, I don't need your money. There is no way I need your money at this point. Take that money to the title company, let them have that money sit in an escrow account, and we kind of go from there.
You're just nurturing them along to escrow. I like that. All right, where'd I get off track? Where you want to land this train?
We were talking about nurturing leads. Anshul kicked too much butt and then sold you on buying one of his properties. We've got about 10 minutes here too. I don't know if we want to dive back into Q&A or if there's anything else we want to.
Yeah, you guys feel free to drop any questions if you have any. I'll pull them up here in just a minute. Anshul, as we kind of wrap this, there's a lot of info in there. You run a business that's pretty much 100% reliant on that disposition, right? Obviously, it's the acquisition side, right? But for me, right, I tell this to my clients sometimes, is that when I have, and this is my argument to both sides, right, is when I have my funding set up just as a tool that I use in the business, and I have the right partners and the right deals, I don't worry about timelines. Therefore, I don't think too hard about sales sometimes. It's not necessarily the right framework. And I can tell you, in this market, we do need a little bit of a harder sales presence. So we've kind of taken that back internal. And what do you know, Anshul, as soon as we start trying, we start selling a little bit more properties, right? So as somebody who relies pretty much, very heavily on being able to turn properties within a due diligence timeframe, what are the things that you would say are kind of the most important that maybe somebody who's doing, if you can think back, I know it's probably a long time ago, but when you're doing 10 or 20 or 30 deals a year, and you're kind of trying to scale through, because that's where a lot of people said 20 deals, 30 deals, 40 deals, 50 to 75, 40, 30, 50, 60. Like if you're trying to go from where you were, before that to okay, now I know I can move, 10 properties a month or 6 properties a month. What kind of changes did you have to make?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I think anybody wants to scale, first of all, needs to create some problems for themselves in the business. If you are comfortable in the business, you're not going to scale. And I give you a little story here. You know, back in the days, I used to have 3 people, and one of the VAs raised the hand up and say, Anshul, if you teach me comms, I can make some offers for you. I never thought that I'm gonna outsource the offer game to anybody. That was my narrow, limited thought process, man. Nobody can do comms as good as me. Okay. And that might be true to this date, but if somebody can do 80% as good as I am, I'll roll with it, right? So every business owner needs to create some problems for themselves. And the problem is you should have more contracts or properties under contract that you can digest. Unless you have that problem, you will not be able to figure out what else you need in your business. You need to let the floodgate open to figure out what else is missing in my business that I need to go fix. It will be a rah-rah, oh my gosh, sky is falling down kind of situation, but that's the problem you need on your, you won't have a dispositions problem unless you have an acquisitions problem, right? You need to have enough contracts going out and putting properties under contract. Then you need to think, I need a dedicated escrow officer. I didn't have that problem to have a dedicated escrow officer first 2 years in my business or 3 years of my business, right? Now I have that problem. I might hire actually 2 escrow officers because we want to double the volume, right? That escrow officer cannot take like twice as many files as she's having right now, right? So I didn't have that problem in the first 2-3 years of my business, but as soon as we cranked up our contract game, right? Whether you're doing range, you're doing blind, you're doing super blind, or you're doing neutral, I don't care. But you need to create the problem of having more properties in the contract than you can manage. And once you have that problem, then your entrepreneur brain will kick in and say, what else I need to go and fix in my business to take this volume, okay? Which will be like, I need to have more marketing guys because these properties are sitting under contract. I'm not even in position to market them, right? But you don't have that problem right now. And because you don't have the marketing problem, you don't have the sales problem. Because you just do not have enough going on to have the need that I have today, that I need a dedicated sales team. Like we have 45 or 39, whatever properties in the market. Man, I can sell all of them, but I can't sell all of them. I need help. So I need to duplicate myself. So anything, if I want to leave here for scaling equates duplication. The more people you can duplicate, the faster you will scale in every department, right? Have 2 people who can do comms probably as good as you, have 2 people who can put properties under contract with the seller as good as you. And once you create that problem, everything else will be easy. That's number 1 tip to scaling. So
Better people than you. I like
better people than me, but just as good enough that you can work with them, right? Like I can still make the best comps because I just have a whole deeper level of understanding every property than I can ever transfer to, to another person, because I have done like, how many 500, 600, 700 closings, and I have a whole different eye than anybody else got. But if they can do 80%, 85% of the job, I'm just fine enough with that, because we have that kind of room to play around and not screw things up and still see closing happen, okay? Because that's the problem with business owner. They want person to be like exactly like them or nothing. Like it's either 0 or 1. And dude, there is a 0.8 and a 0.7 and a 0.6 and a 0.95 in business. And I think that's what business owners should start realizing and leveraging that. So there's not a 1-to-1 match.
100%. 100%. It was probably a year ago. You and I talked, and you gave me this same kind of like anecdotal story of, you're like, why am I doing comps? Like, if I can do it, and I was like, golly, I've been like the final say on price on a lot of our deals for a long time, and all of a sudden we hire some like master's degree folks from South America who cost like $10 an hour, and they actually will pay attention more to the screen, and they'll come back to it 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, okay, I actually need you. Like, I need you to do my comps for me now.
I had an MBA girl from Central America. She was doing comps for me for quite like probably around 1.5 years. Yeah, so you can get that talent, and you're right. They're gonna pay attention to things that we oversee. So that's true.
100%. I love that. And yeah, a lot of people don't have the sales problem because they don't have the acquisitions problem. So I love that too. Okay. Oh, sorry. Questions real quick. There we go. I was like, what am I forgetting? Um, okay, so I'm just going to jump into these again. If you have any more questions, there's a little Q&A button on the bottom here. Just push it, throw them in. We'll answer them as many as we can real quick. If you are, we will send this out as a replay. I'm pretty sure, Ajay, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to send this out as a replay. So if you missed something or you jumped on late, no worries. We've had like 30 or 40 people here steadily. Looks like around 90 people over the course. So thank you everybody for joining. We really appreciate it. If you've been following me or my stuff for a while, I have a pretty simple goal. I'm just trying to create 50 really good partners like Anshul, like Ajay, like hopefully some folks on this call. Cody, what's up? Nice to see you. Jesse, nice to see you. Justice, what's up? Rachel, hello, nice to see you. Spencer, what's up? Victor, what's up? All those people are partners of mine. I call my clients partners. And we're trying to expand our business very much like Anshul is trying to do. And we're doing it by working with other investors. So if you see this later on, or you watch this, or you think you may be a good fit to work with us, give us a holler. We're trying to take our model that we know works and do it in other states and other areas. And we have a whole process and way you can get involved and do that with us. So if that is you, if you're interested in that, hit us up. You can DM us. We'll have a link somewhere around here later on. But let's close this out with questions if anybody's got any. Rachel says, are you getting 15 to 20 leads per day per account?
Yes.
Yes. Beautiful.
10 to 15 for sure if you do it right.
That's all we need. There you go. That answer should solve the problem for you. Another question, do you do flat fee MLS listings with equitable interest? What percentage do you give buyer's agents?
Yes and yes. Equitable listings, brokerlist.com, percentage to the buyer's agent, 3%.
Okay, got it. What size deals are you targeting mostly, Anshul?
Oh man, we're all over the place. We don't do anything which is less than $10,000 in market value.
Okay. And you're generally looking to double your money, 30, 40, 50%, somewhere in there?
If I'm doing a $10,000 deal, yeah, double my money. If I'm looking on a higher side, that's $100,000, then probably, you put it in a contract like at 50%, 60%, sell it at 90%. So probably make $30,000, $40,000 off of it.
Love that. Do you have anybody in your business who is like a CFO or like thinks financially like that?
You know what? Great question. I had a bookkeeper and he was overqualified for a bookkeeper. So he started doing financial analysis for me. But I lost him because he was so over freaking qualified that he found a full-time job with somewhere else, and he's getting paid a hell lot more than I could ever pay him. So, but anyways, I think that's one thing that you should add to your whole tool, to have a person who can throw numbers at you, cash flow, cash on cash, balance sheet, all of that kind of good stuff, short-term inventory, long-term, but it's important. Marketing budget.
Payroll, like having somebody on your team who manages bookkeeping,
Yes.
payroll is so important. Like if you go past 3 people, like you cannot be doing bookkeeping and payroll. You just can't. It's such a low value task. We have a one of our data analysts is like doctorally certified in finance. And then we have a master's degree MBA bookkeeper who we brought on just a couple months ago, and they can do all that kind of stuff. Very similar. Like I feel like they are being way underutilized, but it's what the job is, and we pay them pretty well too, I think. Very competitively, because I don't want them to leave, Anshul. So I'm trying to pay them until they stay. That's something you learn over time.
I'm just not at that point in my business that I could just keep him as a full-time. So unfortunate.
Do you have machines in the United States that are hosting your Facebook accounts?
Yes. That's right.
Yes. Okay, got it. That's what I thought. Are your sales reps on commission?
Yes. Entire companies on commission, but more aggressive. Sales reps are on a way more aggressive commission structure than anybody else.
How's that work?
Having everybody on commissions or having
No, just sales.
The sales? Yeah, good. What's get rewarded, get done. That's
like, what are you doing? Are you doing a percentage of what the deal, how much the deal?
So No, what we make on a as a gross profit in the business on a monthly basis, it's not by deal to deal basis. I can tell you that it's like whatever we net for that month after paying our employees and paying software and that like fixed cost, and that's how we take that money and calculate commissions off of it.
Yeah, we there's a small range in your business for doing it deal by deal, does not create a bookkeeping nightmare. But once you go past a certain amount of deals, it creates an absolute nightmare. So when we were doing a lot too, that's what we did. We switched to a quarterly model where it was just a percentage of sales or profits over that quarter. That seems pretty similar. And that's how everybody on your team is, just at different percentage levels.
Yes, everybody is like different what they bring to the business. So we have a scaling system. So it's kind of an X system. You start at 1X and depends on what kind of experience you bring. We just multiply it by 1.5, 2X, 2.5 can go all the way up to 5X.
Got it. What kind of timelines are you giving on purchase agreements with sellers?
90 days.
90 days. Got it. Can we do a follow-up webinar that focuses on the acquisition side by Cody? Sure, Cody, one day we'll definitely do that. We could also just talk about it too. It's such a long conversation and it's like, Anshul, I don't know if you'd agree with this, but I feel like with sales and everything like that we do in this business, it's like the principles of whatever that discipline are, we just do them not even like on a very good basis, I would say. Like we're pretty rudimentary when it comes to sales. Like if you read a textbook on sales,
Yeah.
and we can still get results. So I think that people way overhype like the sales or the acquisitions or the closings or like anything like that. And because like we're the simplest of sales. Like try and go sell like a super high dollar piece of software or hardware or like technology, completely different game. We're literally just like nurturing people through like, did you look at the property? Or why don't you want to buy the property? Right? Like, there you go. That's like how you get people through.
I mean, back in 2017, we used to send letters and we used to just, sit tight and wait for the letter to come back in the mailbox, dude. Like that was my first deal. Like I made like 45,000 or 46,000 on my first deal. And it was literally a signed contract back that came back after 12 days of sending it. They signed like $130,000 property on this letter, and I closed it with the tile company and doing a double close. And those days are gone, man. Like if you're not getting on the phone, you're not getting those deals anymore. So.
No, that's so funny. Oh, okay. Anonymous asks, how many SMS texts per deal are you averaging?
Good question. I don't think I have that number top of my head. We know we track it, but I want to say something I really don't know.
I don't know either. And I know we track it, but what I will say about that metric is like, I don't like it because if I break it up by campaign, the data points there's not really like a trend line I don't see.
Yeah.
It's like a 0.0 something percent or like a 0.1 or 0.2, something like that. It's low, but it's like when you look at the campaigns that perform really high versus the ones that don't, I don't know what it is. It's just there's something about the campaign normally that like separates.
It's campaign, but guys also take this in consideration how you qualify, because you can send text and they respond back to you, but you don't want to. If you don't know how to qualify your sellers, you're gonna lose on those deals, and then you'll say, "Oh, my text doesn't work as great as Clint does." Well, Clint has a better qualification process. He knows how to make those 400 texts work versus you sending those 4,000 texts and not getting a lead. You know what I'm saying? So that's where your marketing and sales thing kick in. How I can make more out of my limiting marketing budget. That was the whole point of this conversation, right? If I only have $1,000 in my pocket and I have to start a land business, you should better get down to thinking about marketing and sales at a whole different level, because you got only $1,000 and you can only send so many texts, and you need a seller from those leads, and you will find creative ways how to qualify them. You can't be lazy qualifying a seller. We have qualified a seller who was cussing us. Do not ever call us, otherwise there will be consequences. And we made $8,000 double closing his freaking property, okay? A seller who said, do not call us, to the time he sells his property to us and we made $8,000 on it. Why? We have a better qualification process, right?
Yeah.
We do not take no for an answer. Why would we? Right? An interaction with the seller is better than having no interaction. Even if they're cussing you, you should know how to turn that thing into a buyer or, or a seller, wherever side you are. So going to, Clint, we were sending 7,000 or 8,000 texts last year, and we had a horrible qualification process, like horrible. Okay, now we send half the text and we have twice the qualification rate.
Yeah.
Imagine I just cut my marketing budget into half and I have same or more leads coming into the pipe and we're putting more properties under contract. Why? We know how to qualify better than most of the people out there. Okay, so you can have your text as sexy as you want, but if you don't know how to qualify them, man, you're gonna lose those deals. Okay.
100%. It's like every acquisition channel is so unique. That's why I'm not a big fan of like adding a million at a time. Like getting really good at texting is a discipline, just like getting really good at mail or cold calling,
Yes.
or pay-per-click or television advertising or radio
Yes.
advertising, wherever you want, right?
Yep. Like Clint has a really creative ways how he does his copies, right? He sends letter to, like, he has understood, like, hey, there could be 7 variations of it, and it depends on what jives with that specific seller, what they want, right? Same goes with text, same goes with sales, same goes on the phone. It's no different. You have to really dial in and have to squeeze more what you got.
The only purpose of why you do any unit economic of marketing is to get somebody to have an emotional reaction on the other side. So like one of our acquisition entities is unloved land. And one common thing that we get with with our new acquisition reps is someone will be like, well, I do love my land, right? And they're like, how do I answer that? Like, what do I say? And I'm like, it worked. Like what we were going for worked, because I can either ask them, really? Like, oh, that's great. You probably go out there 5 to 10 times a year, right? No, most of the time it's no. You can walk them through steps of why they eventually realize, oh, we actually don't use the property, right? And the people who are like, pound sand, we use our land, we love our land. It's like, great, like the filter worked, right? Like it got the right person out. And I think that's super important. Exactly what you said is like understanding marketing is just like every platform. The reason you came here to this webinar today is because some sort of marketing was done on some specific platform, and then you pushed a button and you came here, right? It like worked in some way. That's the same way you think about text and mail. And if you get into like any other types of advertising, you got to really master getting the person on the other side to have like a click, an emotional something happen in the brain. Like I just paid for somebody to protest my property taxes, okay? And I get a million letters for it. But the one I paid made me a really good offer, and it was like colorful, and I opened it up and it was kind of weird. And I was like, I like this one, right? It was a good offer that was involved with it, but it created a little, and it was also like, by the way, your property is appraising for 140,000 more on the envelope, right? It wasn't inside. They put it on the envelope so that I knew I had this little thing on the fridge. I was like, I got to figure this property tax thing out because I didn't know what the bill said. And then this envelope comes in and says, your property taxes are going to go up $140,000. Well, sorry, the value of your home is going to go up $140,000 if you don't push this button and go to the hearing and go to the meeting. And so we ended up paying somebody to do that, right? But like that's clicked. They got the right message to me. And I feel like people just copy the template or use the whatever all the time. And that doesn't get that. It just doesn't get it done these days. I could rant all day about marketing. Marketing is an interesting little beast. Okay, let's see. This is an interesting one. How would you know you're getting leads from flat fee MLS listings? Like, are they coming from the agents? Are they just the broker sends you an email? How are you getting that?
Yeah, so I mean, pretty much if realtor calling, it's coming from the MLS. They saw us on the MLS, or even a buyer calling, and they're not calling. They're not coming from Facebook Marketplace. They're coming from MLS because it syndicates with Zillow, and that's how they.
So they're coming with a buyer's agent sometimes. A lot of
or they just call us, hey, saw that on Trulia or Zillow, because we know we put it on MLS and it syndicates with Zillow, and we know it was because of MLS that they got to know about it. Unless they're coming from Marketplace, and we know the leads from Marketplace pretty well because we qualify them. We know that they're coming from Marketplace.
Got it. So, do you track leads per conversation?
Leads per conversation.
Like how many leads?
That's conversion.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Oh,
followed
conversion,
boss.
sorry. Leads per
How many
conversion.
or conversion on the buy side? I mean, we try to close everybody and anybody who says I've seen the property, I know the price. Why wouldn't you close? Right? At that point, like that's where we really spend all our energy. We first push them to go see and they come back. I want to close all of them. Because if they're coming back, they've seen the product, they've seen the price, they already know the price. What else is remaining that you don't want to buy the property? Is it me? You don't have to talk to me. I have better looking people in the company. You can talk to them, but I want you to close because that's the right property for you. So I don't know if that helps answer that question, how many leads per conversion on the buy side. But our funnel looks like this. There are a lot of people at the top of the funnel, but once we qualify them, we really try to close them. That's where we have a very one-on-one kind of combat with the buyer. Say, hey, why you don't want to close with me? We really get serious closing.
I like that. I love that. Do you pay for surveys on your deals?
Well, if escrow officer wants it, they say you can't clear the title without doing a survey on this. Or if the buyer wants it, we don't do surveys. I don't do it because I don't hold on to these properties. These are all double close or assignments.
Yeah.
There's no need for me to buy a survey unless the buyer needs it or title company needs it.
Got it. I like this question. Matthew says, I have 3 deals that have been sitting for 90 or more days. Any tips to regain buyer interest or refresh this property? It's currently listed with a realtor.
I would say take it back from the realtor, go to broker less, pay $149, start fielding calls. They should be closed in 15 days. Business owner underestimate themselves as a salesperson. Guys, we exist because we were salespeople first, and then we become entrepreneurs and business owners. Remember how you sold your first deal? Just go back in time. That's what you need to do with this. Take that thing from the realtor, put it on 149, field calls, close that damn thing. Done.
Yeah. And just another tip with it, like price adjustment, especially when you refresh everything. If it's sat for a while, price adjustment, just to test it at different mark, because you don't really know how many calls the realtor's been getting. You don't know, like you're just not going to have, they can tell you, but you're not going to have accurate data. So if I have properties that have been sitting, again, I'm not completely like, I'm less focused on it because we close our deals with cash. But I also know where my cash is at all times. Like a couple of my friends say like, Clint doesn't know a lot of things, but he is a human calculator. Like I always know like what the bill's at, or if something was done wrong, or if something's wrong in the bank accounts. I have this little like internal system. And so I think that, you know, if properties have been sitting, I always want to move them. And so price and relisting, I think are good, but you need to be able to get feedback from the market. If you're not getting any feedback from the market, then you're not in the market. You're not at the right price point. Something's wrong.
Matthew doesn't know if it's a price problem because realtor is not giving feedback to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call the realtor because at this point, he's your buyer or she's your buyer. Say, hey, dude, of all the 10 calls that you got in the, like, what does the buyer say? Why they don't want to buy this property? They should know why they don't want to buy this property. It should not be a secret why you do not want to buy my property. I literally call buyers. Even if they don't want to buy it, I'm cool with that. I'm going to call Jose. Hey, Jose, there gotta be something wrong about me that you didn't buy the property. Oh no, dude, it wasn't about you. It just doesn't fit the price point. I'm looking for something cheaper. And I know I need to go a little bit outside the city in order to get that price point. Okay, cool. I understood. Jose doesn't have money. That doesn't mean my property is at the wrong price. I'm not going to change my price because Jose thinks it's expensive for him. You know, Jose needs to just find another property. So,
yeah.
Okay.
I will double on top of that. If your real estate agent is not closing the deal, it's because like the easiest sale in the world probably hasn't come through yet. And the easiest sale in the world only comes through at a good price point. So you just don't know about what's wrong with it. I take it back. I would list it aggressively to where you start getting something, like you need reaction from the market. I think I learned this from you, Anshul. Maybe I learned this from somebody else, but if I list something and I get within the first 7 days or 5 days, I don't remember, we get over 20 likes or saves on the Zillow listing, we raise the price up because we know people are looking at it, right?
Yep.
So you don't have to be stuck on one thing. Take it back, get it on the market so you start getting some feedback, and then, you know, like Anshul said, be a good salesperson.
Clint bring a great point. Matthew, you need to go see a property on Zillow because if it's on MLS, you got to be on Zillow and you got to see the saves. and it got no saves, then you know the price is definitely a problem. But if it got saves and your realtor is not closing it, then realtor is a problem. You got to take it back from the realtor and start fielding those calls yourself.
Boom, boom, and boom. So like once you're locked out of marketplace, are you just buying them? You buying new accounts? What are you doing?
Oh, we do not buy any account. I bought one account. I felt so bad because the account that we bought was hacked by somebody who sold it to us. And that lady who the account belonged to just had her birthday, and everybody was wishing her birthday 2 days back. And I said, that's the most cruel thing that I have done in this entire freaking life. So I gave that account back to that idiot who sold that account to me and said, dude, I'm going to pay you $100, but I want you to get this account back to the person you stole it from. Do it now. No, we do not steal accounts. We nurture them, and it's a cycle because I know there is benefits to it. We open new accounts. We put pictures. My wife has 4 accounts. I have 3 accounts. My employees who have been here for a long time, they have 2 accounts. Everybody has multiple accounts, and I have taken over their accounts because I say, hey, I'm in the business of donating. If you have your marketplace up, you can donate it to me. I'll take it. So, anyways, but we nurture accounts. We put posts and whatever, and over a period of time, you get marketplace access, and you can start using it. But we don't do that. It was horrible. I did it.
Yeah, we never bought with success. There's always a problem or something. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard, though. Okay, Bob says, can you discuss your pitch to the seller to give you time to find a buyer to do a double closing? Real quick, Anshul, do you have time for this? I'm sorry, we're 18 minutes past.
I can do 10 more minutes.
Okay. How do you pitch to a buyer? Wait. How do you pitch to a seller a double closing? Do you even, let me ask this in a way that I am curious about. When you're marketing and your goal is to do wholesale deals, do you get asked very often, why are you wholesaling this?
Well, if they see it, then they ask it. I'm the buyer for them. And my contracts say that I can assign it. So I assign it.
Yeah. But like, does somebody like, I'm the seller, okay? And I have this piece of property. How often do they go, well, you're going to assign this? Do they?
No, never.
Yeah, they don't say it that often. That's my hunch. I don't know that, but I wanted to get you there.
My sellers are absolutely illiterate, and I love it. So
yeah. So I think generally, Bob, my thought is like, if somebody is asking that question, they're probably savvy and understand there's not too much of a deal there.
If there's asking and they already know about wholesaling, I just say, hey, as soon as I find a buyer.
Yeah.
If you know and I know that I'm going to wholesale it, why not just talk about it? Hey, I need 90 days before I can find a buyer. And if they're cool me wholesaling it for that price point, we take it under contract. If not, that's okay.
Also, you can ask them if their land's made them any money in the last few years and be like, well, you can make $500 for sure. I'll give you $500 non-refundable, right? There's all sorts, like if somebody knows it's, like I've sold deals to other investors because as an investor, I needed to move my thing, right? So talking to that kind of investor, different dialogue, of course, right?
Yeah, of course.
I think most of the time from your mom and pop seller, they like, I'm the buyer, let's move forward. If they ask my standard things, like sometimes I do put a property under contract and I want to wholesale it. It's typically, I'm just going to say either I need to find, or like I need to check X, Y, or Z thing that's relative to the property. And I need this much time because that's the lead time on it. And that's my standard company policy. That's how long it takes us to close a property. And I'm the end buyer. That's normally how I do it.
Yeah. And that's what I've used too. Or I say, hey, there are 5 things that I do with the property. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. I can tell you what I've done in the past. I subdivide, I wholesale, I keep it, I finance it, or I think about it. I do 5 things with the property. I just don't know what I'm going to do with this property, but I know I want to buy it. So by the way, are you okay signing this contract at $10,000? Guys, here's the thing. That's what I learned from Grant Cardone. There's a difference between complaint and objection. What you just said, Clint, is a complaint. That's not a deal breaker. They're just curious. You want to answer that and move on to something else, which is more valuable to them. Let's talk about price and getting in the contract so I can get you paid in 30 days and not 90 days that the property is in the contract for. You want to pivot from that conversation pretty quickly, giving them an answer that they don't feel stupid that you haven't answered their question. Okay, that's sales, right? And so you got to pivot to something better that they want to listen. Hey, let me get you paid 30 days. The longer we take time to put it under contract, the longer it will take for me to get you paid. Let's put it in the contract. Let me get to work. Let me get with the title company. Let me see what I can do for you. Let's get rolling. Damn, done.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we do on our side of the business.
And I'll just throw one extra thing on top of that. Like, it's insane to me, the power of non-refundable earnest money. Okay. Like I've locked up multiple $1 million properties for like $500, like locked it up for 120 or 150 days. I've had the right to transact and do business with that property, and it cost me $500. And it simply was just moving the needle from a seller never having, like, have always been having their time wasted, right? So how can you, like, if they're asking you the question, it's probably because they've had their time wasted in that way in the past, or there's pain there. Like, that's generally the reason these questions come up. So I'd ask that, you know, why is that concerned? But anyhow, non-refundable earnest money for a deal you like, it's crazy how, like, we'll be stuck. No, we're not going to wait 90 days for closing. Oh, how much, like, that dialogue, I tell you, has your property made you any money last year? No, like, I'll guarantee it makes you $500 this year, right? Give me 90 days. That has moved a deal from stalemate to, oh, okay, sure.
Sure.
Oh, we'll have $500 in 2 days. Okay. Like,
Exactly.
crazy, but, like, you know, like my friend, he runs a little company that scoops dog poop. He says, like, people have Mercedes and the $1 million houses and the pools, but sometimes they can't pay their $45 poop scooping bill on time, right? So sometimes $500, you know, means a lot to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, got that one, beat that one to death. Sometimes I'm gonna skip this one, sorry, just for time. Lance, it's this website. Lance is asking website to list your deals, broker list MLS. If they have a access to that MLS, then they'll be able generally to get your thing listed. It's like in that price range there. It's we've used them before. There's a couple other shops that do it. It's just flat fee MLS listing. Saves
14 saves, how many days?
Yeah, you need to know how many days. Like, 14 saves in 5 days is good, I think. Would you say, Anshul?
Yeah, 14 saves in 5 days. Where is days? I don't see days here.
Yeah, he doesn't have days. He doesn't have days on there, but I'm just saying, I think days, like, it depends on how long. Is it 365 days or is it 4 days, right?
Exactly. If 14 days, 14 saves, you should have a buyer by now. If it's 14 saves in 2 days, you should have a contract. Where's the contract? But if it's 14 days in 3 months, then yeah, you have to work a little bit on the price point. People are not liking the price. They're waiting for you to drop the price before they come back in.
Or the realtor's not picking the phone up.
Exactly.
This has been great, Anshul. Thank you so much. I hope you got value out of this. If you were joining, hey, if you're interested in working with our team, we work with folks like Anshul and Ajay and just a lot of other cool people. You can really just go to learn.land and you can just start this questionnaire here and it'll tell you if we're a good fit to work together. And if you are, you can talk to Ajay. And if you're a really good fit, then I'd like to jump on and chat with you. Otherwise, we put this content out for free because we hope it helps you create your business, grow your business, make some more money. And look, I say this to people all the time. 2 of my 5 biggest deals have come from referrals. One of those referrals was from Mr. Anshul, and he got a $50,000 check and he didn't have to do anything. All right. I still love the day when I was like, hey, what's your wire instructions, Anshul? I'm sending you 50 grand.
Okay, so let me say this. That dude, I think we have 1 more minute here. That dude that I passed over to Clint, I was following with that guy for 9 straight months. Every other Saturday, I was in so love with that county. Every other Saturday, my favorite phone call was to that dude because he was selling an 8-acre parcel and I was in love with that 8 acres. I said, I wish I can have that 8 acres at the price I don't want. I was so adamant that after 9 months, he said, I don't have that 8 acres, but I have this 110 acres if you're interested. I was like, well, interested, but can't do it. And that's when I call my friend Clint and say, hey, we got to get this thing done. And then Clint and I were like back and forth with that setup before he really took it off because his expertise is in subdividing, guys. So if you really want to make money subdividing a big piece of parcel, man, Clint is your guy. He's going to get the job done. He got every single every single tool in the toolbox that will bring to the finish line. So
If it's
yeah.
a deal, we'll get it done. But don't be upset if I tell you it's not a deal, because I tell 99% of people it's not a deal. Don't bring me that trash anymore. Anshul, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Anshul, where can folks go find you? I saw you got a Facebook group going, obviously social media.
Yeah, there's a group. Well, I just set that group up just to do this kind of conversation, land arbitrage, strategy, selling, scaling. So you can look it up on Facebook. On Facebook, just type land arbitrage. You should be able to find it. You can join it. I go live every Friday, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, just to have conversations like this. So it's free.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Follow Anshul on like Facebook and Instagram if you do. He's always like traveling around doing cool stuff. So we'd love to keep up with him there. Ajay, thank you as always for being here and co-hosting. Thank you everybody for being here. We appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed. Peace out.